Got an order here for one fully restored 64 GT40. Now, whose might that be?
Good to have you back. Now, this next stunt is going to require skill, delicacy, and, inertia. I'll give you the stunt vehicle now so you can get the hang of it. Just don't put too many scratches on it, yeah? We want it nice and shiny for the shoot when we get there. It's another jump. Still the same movie somehow. Apparently they tried to do this one with computers and it just looked rubbish. So you're going to do it for real. Right, this is the place. This is a tricky one. A jump across a river, loads of rocks. Focus. Get the car to speed. Forget about the river, forget about the rocks. You just worry about your speed and the ramp. I'd say you'd need at least 100 miles per hour to reach the far side. When car jumps go wrong, they hurt. Trust me. But we've stiffened the suspension and there's a solid 5 point in there. We've done all we can for you. Best of luck, kid. Let's do it. Scene 67. Waterfall jump. Action! Fast and flat and level, kid. You can do this. And cut! You alright, kid? Of course you're alright. Why wouldn't you be alright? Wasn't worried about you for a second. Thanks for coming down. We have to reshoot the sequence. They let the real Frankie Beaumont do it the first time round, and the results were less than inspiring. Nah, what we need is a professional stunt driver, right? Head for the village. You can get a handle on the stunt vehicle on the way. I'll follow along, don't worry. See you down there. Back in Broadway. Guess English villages are all the rage in movies now. Right, stretch your legs and we'll get set up. Right, so they couldn't convince Frankie to really cut loose with some dangerous driving. Said it wasn't right for the character. Actors, what are you gonna do? But you're gonna slam the throttle and skid and slide and smash this place to bits, aren't you? Absolutely. We'll select the best shots later.
Okay, scene 82. Village chase. Action! No idea what the point of this scene is, by the way, so just have fun. Nice work. I'll get this footage straight into editing so the rushes can go to the director. Even if none of it gets used, you sure showed that village who's boss.
Hello again. So, I spoke with the director of this Frankie Beaumont movie, and I think they're writing in new stunts just for you now. If you're up for it. I said you would be. Great. Anyway, it's all set up on a road course. Bit of a drive, so you may as well take the stunt vehicle, but don't ding it, or the production designer will kill me.
Location is up in the mountains. I'll see you there. top of the world, eh? Enjoy it. You're gonna be back at the bottom very, very shortly.
Oh, I should mention, you're doubling for the villain this time. Everyone loves a good bad guy, right? Supposedly you're up in the mountains formulating your evil plan or something. I wouldn't worry about it. You just have to get from the top to the bottom fast as you possibly can.
We good? Right. Scene 14A. Downhill rush. Action! Who knows how it fits into the story, but I reckon this movie's got a properly diabolical villain now. What you reckon?
Hey, there you are. Taking a break from the Frankie Beaumont movie, if that's all right. Thought you might help me with a short film project of my own, up in Edinburgh. Race, you there? Ha! No, kidding. I'm too old for that.
Are you familiar with Claude Lelouch's C'était un Rendezvous? Look, I'm not usually much for art house cinema, but this is the most famous 8-minute run through Paris ever put on film. doing an homage. Except I'm using the most beautiful of all the capitals of Europe. What do you think?
Right. Route is set. Got cameras on the car. All I want you to do is open it up in this. Bit of a French reference, but it's got more than enough power. Fast and clean is what we're going for.
Right. Edinburgh Rendezvous. Directed by Mike Steele. Action! Now, floor it right down the Royal Mile. Across North Bridge, then hard right and into Newtown. Back up Princes Street and along the gardens. Come on! Really go for it! Now, out of the city! Without hitting a tram, please. Oh, that was amazing! Better than I imagined. I'll invite you to the premiere, kid, but don't tell anyone you were the driver, yeah? We'll keep it a mystery forever.
Hey, apparently my little Edinburgh short film caused a stir. It seems the city doesn't appreciate cinema verite. They prefer you to get permission. But, well, I didn't tell them about you, and Joel smoothed the whole thing over, so... let's get back to the movie project, shall we? I need you to take this thing down to the southern motorway tunnel.
Stunt unit is standing by. I'll be down shortly. Here we are. This is a pretty complicated setup. The guys have been working round the clock. Oh, I know you can handle it, I'm just saying.
So, remember when I said a lot of computer stuff? Ignore that. We've got multiple barricades, tunnels and jumps. Keep your head in the game. If the driving's real, nothing else matters.
Righto. Scene 79A. Barricade smash. Action! Your route's safe, but try to make it look dangerous, yeah? Throw the back end around a bit. Looking good. Now, gun it through here. There's a ramp by the bridge. Jump it. Plow through the junk on the far side. Look at that sky, though. Tunnels littered with big stuff. Follow the route and get some good swerves in, though. Watch out, because there's some big stuff in there, too. Now, out the final barricade and hit the jump. Nice. Even if this movie doesn't make much sense, I reckon people will see it just for your driving. Maybe that's what they're counting on.
Sounds like your name is getting around in the business. I gave out a reel of your stuff. Now they want us both for a car advert. Ever done advertising work? It's good money, but it can get a bit boring. That's why you've got to have some fun with it. Wait till you see what I mean.
Take your car and meet me on set. I'll show you. Everything's ready? Weather's nice? Let's do this.
So, the brief is for a practical city car. You know, good fuel economy, easy to park. Which is all well and good, but can you park it on top of a shipping container? Don't worry, they love this idea. At least they will love it when I tell them and show them the footage. Let's go.
Okay, container climb advert, take 1. Action! That's it! Cut it! Print it! If that doesn't sell practical city cars, then I don't know what will.
I'm back on this Frankie Beaumont movie. The producers tell me they're nearly finished adding driving scenes. I told them now you're here, they can have as many as they want. The route is just south of the Lake District. Looks like we're going cross-country on this one.
Stunt unit and stunt vehicle are on site. See you there. can see why you'd want to shoot something here.
I thought the producers might be going for a big emotional moment. You know, beautiful landscapes and soaring music. And it's a nice route along Derwent Water, but... You're driving this. Oh well. All that power and suspension gets me pretty emotional, to know about you.
This is it. Scene 48A. Speed drive. Action! Rough terrain ahead. Take it off-road if you have to. Not bad. Sure you can do better, though. Coming up on a jump. Let's get all four wheels off the ground. Come on, with some feeling. Throw it out sideways for the cameras, but watch those trees. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Brilliant. Just a little more rough terrain and you're through. Maybe it's a metaphor for the characters in the movie. I don't know. Outstanding! Let's see the real Frankie Beaumont drive like that. They should just make this movie about you, kid.
All right, kid. This is it. Your final gig doubling for Frankie Beaumont. The climax of that movie we started shooting all those months ago. That is, assuming they don't write in a new ending. Doesn't matter. We're going as big as we can on this one. You with me?
Stunt unit is set up near the old airstrip. You can take the stunt vehicle, but usual drill, yeah, no damage. last pieces into position now.
We've got a series of 3 jumps separated by railway wagons. I need you to stick to your route and hit them all hard and fast. You're a professional stunt driver now. Kid, honestly, I'm not sure if you're the hero or the villain or what this movie is even about anymore. All I know is, it's a pleasure watching you drive.
Break a leg. Scene 99A. Railway showdown. Action! Straight down to the first ramp. According to the script... who cares about the script? Keep it on the road through this hard turn. You'll need the speed for your next jump. Coming up on the next jump. Remember, any landing you drive away from is a good one. Last turn. If you want to cut across the farmland, do it, but do it fast. Final jump! This is the big one! Take it low or take it high! Your choice! Cut! Wow! Oh, never thought I'd say this, kid, but couldn't have done it better myself. Thank you. Oh, and I spoke to the producers. Would you be up for some acting lessons? Seems you're a lot more fun to work with than Frankie Beaumont.
Sounds like you've impressed Mike. And trust me, Mike is not an easy man to impress. I'll let you know when you get a call back.